Okay, so we are talking about the probationary status of Adam, how he violated the probation, and how that caused great loss to man. So, what exactly was Adam's sin? We talked about it earlier, I believe, in some part. Was it simply that he ate a fruit? Was that Adam's sin? No, what was Adam's sin? Disobedience of God's law. That's it. He transgressed God's law. Most people think, the other way. Oh, he ate a little fruit. For that God punished this much. God must be very, very cruel person, eating, A little child was told not to take the, sweet. Of course the child took, but you cannot say that the child had transgressed, but the transgression was of a different, because the child had the temptation to take sweets, little children. You have to keep the sweet bottle somewhere the child cannot reach, because the child is only 2-year-old. The child cannot know about the consequences, doesn't know much about the law, But Adam was not a little child like that, where God put the cookie, a jar on the table and said, hey, don't take it, And he was a little boy and he was so tempted. No, it was not like that. There was no necessity. Adam knew fully well the consequences, and Adam had plenty of fruits. Plenty of fruits. Interestingly, I have a feeling that the same kind of tree was also existing there. If it was an apple tree, for example, there were other apple trees where he could take. But don't take from this particular tree. The 2 trees were marked out, the tree of life and the tree of knowledge. Of this tree you should not eat. But he wanted to eat only from that tree. Basically, it was not a question of eating the fruit, it was a question of transgressing the law. That's it. And we have to see sin in that nature. Sin always involves a transgression of the law of God. Today, sin is defined as that which is against God's character or against God's law. Yes. If it is a question of character, that is a character well known to each one. God is love and hatred is a sin. God is righteous, unrighteousness is a sin. God is truthful and all untruth things are sinful. But here in the case of Adam, there was a specific law, thou shalt not eat of this one tree. And he ate. I don't know if I was in Adam's place, what would have I done? I think I will do the same thing, because I was also there. Basically the same thing. But it makes a lot sense to go immediately and take the fruit of the tree of life, because only one tree is prohibited. 2 trees were marked out. So that means both trees have something unique. This one has the uniqueness of causing death. I should not do it. So forget about it. But what about this other tree? He willingly never ate from it. But he was tempted to eat it after he ate the other fruit. God knew what was Adam's next step. So God guarded that garden, put him out. God himself said, let us thrust man out, lest he should extend his hand and take from the tree of life and will abide forever a sinner, the possibility of salvation is out. See, man was very calculated. He thought that he will eat it and then immediately eat the other one, and God could do nothing. He could look at God and say, now what about? I'm smart. Because I not only became a sinner, but I am confirmed sinner forever, all eternity. God said, you are not that smart. And cherubs were put there to guard with turning swords on all sides. If Adam will make any attempt from anywhere, it will, cut him into pieces. Because God in eternity has written some names in the book of life, and His plans cannot be thwarted. Before the foundation of the earth, we are chosen in Him. Jesus Christ was a lamb that was slain from the foundation of the earth. Before man was created, from God's point of view, all things are settled. Isn't that amazing? Yes. So Adam's sin was more than eating a fruit. It was transgression of divine law. The knowledge of good and evil did not come from the magical power of the tree. It came from the willful determination of man to go against God's will to establish his own will. It would have happened if God chose any other tree for the provision. I don't think the power was in the tree. No. James 1:14 did not apply to Adam's temptation. He was not tempted by an inward lust or sin. James speaks about how we are tempted. Everyone is tempted by the lust in him. But Adam's sin was not lust from him. The lust principle came only when Adam sinned. So it was an intellectual process, that basically involved intellectual. Because when he saw this, he saw that, and he saw this, means he intellectually spent a lot of time in thinking about this thing. He came to the conclusion, it is better to eat and be separated from God as a free person. That's what his decision was. He was tempted to live contrary to what God said. Satan said, in essence, what God said is not true. God has interior motives in the prohibition. God does not want man to be like God. He wants to keep man, a person, subjected to his own will. God knows and hates your independence. God knows the day you eat, you shall be a free person. All that Satan said was true. But it was expensive truth. Satan didn't say the other side. Yeah. Of course, that's what Satan could say, because Satan sinned against God and he is an independent creature. He is enjoying what he is doing. Yeah. He is basically enjoying what he is doing. It's amazing. The sinner usually enjoys what he is doing. The same thing after he is saved, he looks back and he said, wow, I did those things, Some who are drunkards, after they get saved and stop drinking and all, they cannot even sit next to a drunkard, the smell of the alcohol. Say, oh, yes. I always, I have a great joke thing. When I was in Palai, there was one man. He was a confirmed drunkard, in the sense that from morning till evening, from evening till morning, the only business he does is drinking. From a rich family. Almost, most of them just gone because of this. Everybody was, he was a bad guy also. After drinking, he is a miserable guy, He will do things that most other people won't. So wicked. Everybody was sick and tired. The police was also, he had all kinds of cases. And that's when, one day he decided to commit suicide. he beaten his wife and children, they all run away. He was alone. 3-4 days over, nobody there, family, nobody to, he goes in the morning. The toddy shop, the liquor shop is just close by, another 500 meters. He goes, drinks, he goes, come back. So I was not there for a few days. When I came back, my wife told me, Joe Ibn is his name, that, every day I see him going, but from this morning I did not see him. His wife and children are all gone because he has beaten them up and all that. So why don't you go inside and see whether Joe Ibn is alive or dead? He's a dangerous guy, to go and see whether he is dead or alive. If he is alive, I will be dead. That sort of a situation. So I went and the door was not locked, but it was kind of, I knocked on it, called his name. He responded. I said, what's happening? He said, come on in, sir. So I went in. So he had a glass and he had some liquid in it, and he was stirring something. So I said, what is this? He said that this is, the fruit and in the liquor. He was stirring it. Sir, I'm going to commit suicide. He said, this is my last day. I said, is it necessary, compulsory to die today? Can you postpone your death until tomorrow? അത് സാർ അങ്ങനെ ചോദിച്ചാൽ ഞാൻ ചോദിച്ചാൽ ഇന്ന് തന്നെ മരിക്കേണ്ട അത്യാവശ്യമുണ്ട് പിന്നെ ഒക്കില്ലല്ലോ അല്ല അങ്ങനെ ഇല്ല നാളെ വരെ മാറ്റി വെക്കാമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു എന്നാൽ എൻ്റെ കൂടെ ബൈബിൾ ക്ലാസ്സിന് വരാൻ പറഞ്ഞു. സോ ഐ ഇൻവൈറ്റഡ് ഹിം. He liked that Bible class, first time in his life. He was sober enough, because he's a confirmed drinker, he can understand things. He's a very intelligent, educated man. And so first night he enjoyed, then second day he enjoyed Bible classes, and third day he enjoyed, so he started coming with me. Yeah, and the second day he threw them. I went there and he said, "What are you going to do with that one?" He said, "I don't want to commit suicide. Throw it away." So he threw it away. So, he started giving and he accepted the Lord. He got saved. Now, when he got saved, my fear is his drinking. They have a hotel in the town where liquor is also served, and also he's a manager there. Morning he goes, he drinks. That's what he does. So I told him, then I asked him, you go and get your wife and all. They ran to her parents' place, and so he went and got the okay. He went and got his family and all, and so I told the family, and now I want him not in the hotel anymore. Yeah. So what he will do? Well, let him come with me. He stopped. They were very happy he stopped, drinking for a while. It's only 2 weeks now. So I said, I will make him, he's a good driver. They have a car and all, I make him a driver. So I had another driver, told him, he's a believer, said that I want to save him. So he started coming with me, for some time. The fun is, and of course the family was very happy. Then talked about getting baptized. The family became so upset, and because they are big shots, they're very rich people, and his younger brother is one of the famous scientists who got the highest scientific award and all, very young man, is in the Institute of Science, a professor there at the age of 30 or 35. He's a full professor there. He got the biggest award. What is it called for the science? There's an award in India, I remember his picture coming in, and he was congratulated by everybody present, and this and that. Anyway, they're big people. They're all big people. Andon is the principal of a college there, and they're all big people. So, getting baptized means for the converts. Yeah, the problem. So they said, they told me that, Joipന്റെ കുടിയല്ലെന്ന് സാറേ, ഇനി കുടിക്കുകയില്ല. ഞങ്ങൾ എന്ത് പ്രാർത്ഥിച്ചിട്ടാ അതെന്നറിയാം. മാതാവിനോട് ഞങ്ങൾ ഒരുപാട് പ്രാർത്ഥിച്ചു. എനിക്ക് ശരി വന്നു. Anyway, the thing is, after ജോയിപ്പം കുടി നിർത്തി 1 മാസം കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ, we were going somewhere. I was talking with some person. He was telling us, സാറേ അവൻ തണ്ണിയാ സാറേ, കള അവൻ്റെ കാര്യം. He had been a തണ്ണി for 30 years. 33 years, I was talking with a man who had drunk a little bit. So he was telling, sir, leave him, he is a drunkard. So I told him, what were you? If you can get saved, why can't he get saved? So the attitude of the people when they stop drinking, they hate people who drink. Those who stop drinking, they hate people. They cannot even stand them because they are very conscious of their past. This man had 35 criminal cases when he got saved. 35. All very, very bad criminal cases. Nothing stealing or anything. It's all stabbing people or this and that kind of. After get drunkard, he is very bad. Anyway, the family knew that if he continued with me, trouble. So they by force take him and put him again in the hotel. In 6 months, he died of, his liver lost completely. He died. But he was a truly saved person. I wanted to, see his dead body. He had a good smile on his face. And he read his Bible and he shared the gospel with everybody who comes to the shop. But because his old habit came back. But point I said is, a drunkard, when he got saved, he cannot stand under drunkard. Yeah. Because the sinner, when he is doing the sin, even though he enjoys it, when he gets saved from that sin, he realizes how bad a sin he was doing it. That realization, how bad, how worst a crime he was doing it, he was. So the temptation to sin for Adam didn't come from inside, it from Satan outside. It was more, Adam thought through himself, he argued, he calculated, everything, he understood what he was doing. That's exactly what he wanted. Yes. So it's amazing, amazing how man has. There was no lacking in man's creation, I will say, but man thought there was a lacking in his creation, which he said is the freedom. But truly, was Adam free when he was created? Was Adam free when he was created? Or he was free after he sinned? Yes, free from his. If we define what is freedom, if the freedom is the opportunity to do the right things, the right way, for the right purpose, Adam was perfectly free. If freedom is the opportunity to do evil or wickedness or good things or bad things, then Adam was not free. If somebody steals something and the policeman catches him, what will he say? See, I have the freedom. I have the freedom to steal or not to steal. So why you are interfering in it? No, the policeman says you don't have the freedom to steal. No. Even if you give all you have to a poor person, sell your property and give, that you have the freedom to do because it's a good act. But this you don't have the freedom. So Adam was free, but Adam, somehow thought that, well, that sort of a freedom is not truly freedom. Real freedom comes when man is able to do whatever he wants. Freedom is whatever he ought to do, not whatever he wants to do. Whatever he ought to do is decided not by himself. It's decided by somebody above him, by God. Ought is not equal to is or are. No. I ought to be doing good does not automatically mean I am doing good. No. We do many things. So Adam misinterpreted, I think that you may say that Adam wanted a freedom that God did not mean for him. And the thing is, God has not implanted such a sinful desire in man. Satan's interpretation of the fruit of the tree was an attack against God's integrity. Because Satan said, for God knows that the day you eat therefore, then your eyes will be opened and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. What is good and evil, you will decide. God will not decide for you. That is what he said. Now God decides what is good and what is evil. That's not freedom. Somebody else deciding good and evil for you. Freedom is you decide what is good and evil for you. That's exactly where our legal system and everything is coming. Our Supreme Court recently said that if an adult man and adult woman, by their own consent will do whatever in a hotel room or something, police have no business of raiding the hotel. It is their freedom. We should not interfere in their freedom. Is that freedom, I am saying? That's not freedom. No. See, that's the state in which it's saying. Now, homosexuality is legalized. So a man can marry a man or whatever he wants to do, that sort of it. That's freedom. Man is free now. The strings of the society that were there, one by one, they are cutting it in. How many to go, I don't know. You can kill your baby at your discretion. In your stomach. Helpless, can defend itself. You can kill it. You want. All kinds of things. Euthanasia. You can kill your old father because you don't want to care anymore, Or they interpret it because you wanted to help your old father not to suffer. So you are injecting some arsenal, poisonous thing into his system. There was a time the medical science, they will take an oath, what the oath is called, the Hippocrates oath, saying that I shall defend life, I will protect life and will never do anything to destroy life. Doctors have taken that. Now that they have to change that, I shall destroy life whenever I want. See, things change. Adam began it, that's what I am saying. Adam began it. In that single statement of Adam, or the single action of Adam, all these moral and spiritual evils were all in it. You may say it was in a very, micro, situation, very small situation. But that's terrible, isn't it? Yes. So Satan promised man greater results. Be like God. Knowing good and evil, you are going to decide what is good and what is evil for yourself. You are no more going to be bound by God's will. You are going to have your own will in everything. And even the little child, 3 and 4-year-old child, 2-year-old child fighting with the parents to establish its own will. Over little thing. The mother feeds the baby, maybe the formula or whatever, maybe the baby won't take it, very, very small baby won't take it. Not because the baby is not hungry, it's because the formula is not made to his right temperature. That's right. I remember, we had children. I remember one of my children. The milk bottle was given. Just one sec, took the bottle and threw away. Away. The milk was little too hot. Little hot, not very much. So it has to be taken and cooled down and then give, then happily, See that? People say they are not sinners. Oh, they are sinners. You think they are not sinners? You don't know what is sin. They have their own will. We will compliment, oh, smart fellow. No, not smart fellow, sinner. Sinner. Yes. See, Spurgeon was very, very humorous person, When American president wanted to visit him, he was visiting England, so the Prime Minister of England and the President of America, they have taken an appointment to visit to Spurgeon. Spurgeon was a great speaker. At that time he was sick also, so they wanted to call upon him. So they just came and gave the secretary, they are visiting God, of course, American president. And one day they went into the room and said, the American president and our prime minister are here. So said, let him in. So as they were coming in, Spurgeon said, come on in, fellow sinners. That's what he said, come on in, fellow sinners. Fellow sinners, you are as sinful as I am. We are all sinners, come on in. So, they had a laugh, but that's the reality. Whether you become the President of America or the Prime Minister of England or the President of India, who are you? You are a sinner. You are a sinner. So David was very honest. My mother, conceived me in sin and iniquity. That's so Adam's decision had far-reaching consequences we don't realize. The only difference is some of us will show that Adam's character a little better way than others. Yes. Sometimes you can see Adam in the Garden of Eden, even challenging God and, Eve taking it and giving to Adam, and Adam take a slow, not a slow bite, a big bite. Let me see what God will do, and ate it. What a joy. I said, I have done it. I have done it. Now what will God do? I am liberated. But we know the liberation didn't do much good. So Satan was speaking philosophically. Hey man, you are a becoming being. The state in which you are is the base minimum. By eating the fruit, you will be elevated to the level of God. He liked it. Oh, that promotion to be like God. It's like the 8-year-old child, he said that you smoke this cigarette and you will be like your father. Means that only adults can smoke. So some children smoke, but what they wanted to prove to the world that I have reached adulthood. My parents don't realize it. So they just take the cigarette and fancifully they just, smoke it and all that and walk into even before the father, and all the father realized, man, he has reached the age. I lost control over him. Poor boy, isn't that? Has he really reached? So that's what happened. Man was created to know by faith, but Satan suggested to man there is a higher and better state of knowledge, that is knowing with self-reference. Adam knew with God's reference. God was the pusto, the point of reference for Adam for everything he has to do. He either said yes, God said it, yes, God permitted it, no, God prohibited it, Yes, it is the will of God. Now he is able to say that I decided, I want to do it, I don't want to do it, I will do it, I will not do it. Isn't that a better way? Isn't that a better way? Well, think about it. So Satan suggested that. Satan did not tell that a forbidden desire is sin. No. Satan's fall was also originated by a forbidden desire. He wanted to elevate his throne above the throne of God. He was there to worship God. He was in charge of the worship of God. But he wanted all the angels to worship him instead of God. What a desire. For that one, he has to put his throne above the throne of God. In another sense, he wanted God to be worshipping him. That's what a desire it is. Oh yes, some people sometimes, has a desire. Haman had that desire. Haman thought that the king was going to make him. So then question was asked to Haman, what should the king do for a person whom he wants to